Hello everyone, welcome to Veranda IAS. In this learning unit of Geography Foundation course, we'll be looking into the previous year question analysis part for mains. So scoring in mains is very important because even a single mark can decide your service. And geography as a subject forms a part of GS1 mains and it contributes around 70 to 90 marks out of 250 marks. That is around 4 to 7 questions. Almost 35% weightage out of 250 marks. So you could understood the importance of geography subject in mains. So let us discuss the previous year analysis of mains and how to approach such questions. So let us start with few questions over here. These are the questions asked in 2020 mains. See, first what to write in a question. First of all, the most important thing to do while reading a question is to identify the keywords and make note of it. Underline it so that you don't deviate yourself from the very keyword, because we have a habit of writing in and around the question asked, not exactly what the question is asked during our school or college days. So identify the keyword and revolve your answer around the keywords. So here they have asked about account for huge flooding of million cities in India, including the smart ones like Hyderabad and Pune. Suggest lasting remedies. Could you see here? They have asked for not immediate remedies. They have asked for lasting remedies, remedial measures. So you could understood what are the keywords. Generally, if you are like a fresher and if you are asked to write an answer for this, you would be revolving around the huge flooding. What is the reason for flooding and all? But we hardly talk about this part. So for this, we'll discuss how to answer this particular question at the end of this session. And let us see how to identify the keywords for other questions as well. Here, in this particular question, India has immense potential for solar energy though there are regional variations in its development. Elaborate. And there is one more important thing. Every question format will be different. They must have asked to suggest remedial measures, they have asked to elaborate the particular statement, and they have asked to critically examine, and again here examine, and they have asked how. So what is the difference between these questions? See, elaborate as such means what is the exact meaning of it in English. Elaborate means to talk in detail about. So this particular statement has to be talked in detail about. What are all the informations you have in your mind? So it has to be, the statement has to be written in detail. So elaborated in detail. So that is the main motive of this question. And here in this, they have interlinking of rivers can provide viable solution to the multidimensional interrelated problems of droughts, floods, and interrupting navigation. Here they have asked to examine critically examine. That means so they are giving the word critically. That means you are supposed to say the positives and the negatives of this particular statement and then take a balanced conclusion, which you feel it is better for the particular statement. So you have to examine critically. Both sides has to be argued and should be a balanced conclusion. So this is the difference between elaborate, critically, examine. And here they have asked to examine. Examine means you have to probe deeper into the particular topic and tell about the topic. So this is examine, whereas elaborate is even more detailed. So there is difference between elaborate and examine as well as the critically examine. Critically as such, this is one of the most used word with respect to the mains part. So these are the questions with respect to the 2020 mains. Next we shall look into the mains questions for 2019. So these are the mains questions of selected mains questions of 2019 from geography subject, and here the question is assess the impact of global warming on the coral life system with examples. Here the question word is assess. Assess means you are supposed to weigh the particular statement and you are supposed to give your arguments on it. And if there is any flaw, you are allowed to argue that side also and take a stand on the particular statement. So here they have asked about the global warming and its effect on the coral life. You know what is global warming? Coral life, you must have a rough idea. And how this global warming is affecting coral life. So the interrelation between them with the examples, where all the coral lives are distributed across the world. So how the global warming has bleached the coral life and how that has affected the marine life. So certain things like that, and you are assessing the statement. If we are building coral lives, that can also be mentioned. So you're supposed to take a stand at the end of the answer. And here they are asked you to discuss the cause of depletion of mangroves and explain their importance in maintaining coastal ecology. So they have asked discuss here, and the main keyword of the question is depletion of mangroves. Explain their importance. So these two are the keywords, and the question over here is discuss. Discuss means generally what do you do in a group discussion? People will put forth different points. Similarly, you're allowed to write a discussion in a written format in this particular question. So you are discussing how the depletion of mangroves, what are the causes of depletion of mangroves, and how it is important to maintain the coastal ecosystem. Mangroves act as a barrier while flood occurs, and it stops coral erosion. There are so many importance of mangroves as well. So you are supposed to discuss the particular statement. And now here, the question over here is how do the ocean currents and water masses differ in their impacts on marine life and coastal environment. So you are supposed to give suitable examples. So you know ocean currents and water masses, their impact in marine life and coastal environment. So you can also include coral life over here, and you are going to relate the relation between ocean currents and the marine life along with the examples. So you could have a rough idea about these points, but you are supposed to write for about 150 to 200 words. Sometimes the demand of the question also be more than 200 words. So you have to stick to the word limit and also the time limit, which is very important. So you have to do this, and wherever the diagram is possible, you could draw. Say for example, mangroves. You can draw a rough diagram of India and show the distribution of mangroves. For example, say this is India, mangroves over here, Sundarban mangroves are over here, and small amount of mangroves are over here. So you could say what are the distribution of mangrove vegetation, and you can say what are the causes of depletion. So that's how you could include a diagram in your question, and so enhance the value to your answers. So next we shall get into the 2018 mains questions, wherein here they have asked about define mantle plume and explain the role of plate tectonics. This is an important concept in geomorphology. By defining what is mantle plume, and then we are going to explain the plate tectonics theory. So this as a concept you can elaborate with diagram as well, the diagram of world map or the plate boundaries. So you could do justice to this question if you have very good knowledge about the particular topic. The next question is the ideal solution of depleting groundwater resources in India is water harvesting system. How can it be made effective in urban areas? So they already have given in the statement. The ideal solution for depleting water resources in India is harvesting water. So what are the ways in which this can be made effective, especially in urban areas? Because of urbanization, there is a poor water harvesting system. So how to do this? That is the keyword, and you are supposed to revolve your answer around that particular keyword. Always have a habit of checking the keyword while even in the middle of the writing the exam. Sometimes while writing will change course and tend to deviate. Maybe initially you tend to deviate. Over practice you could align yourself to the particular keyword and revolve only around the answer. Next we shall see the questions of 2017 mains. Here they have asked you account for variations in ocean salinity and discuss its multidimensional effects. So they have asked about the salinity of ocean and its effects that are multidimensional nature. With this knowledge only you could write what are the reasons for ocean salinity, what are the effects, because what if the salinity is lower, what if the salinity is higher. So those variations should be given in the particular answer. The next question, in what ways can flood be converted into sustainable source of irrigation? See, flood is excess water. There are few places in India where there is lack of irrigation or not enough in irrigation, and all weather inland navigation in India. Can you understand? Flood to be converted into sustainable source of navigation and irrigation and inland navigation. They are asking the excess water to be converted into irrigation plus inland navigation. So this is a very often discussed topic, especially in news channels or newspapers. So this, with a good idea, you can write a very well structured answer for this particular question. Next is, what characteristics can be assigned to monsoon climate that succeeds in feeding more than 50% of the world population residing in the monsoon Asia. So they have asked about the characteristics of monsoon climate and what characteristics can be assigned. So what are the positive characters can be assigned, or what are the negative characters? What are the characters that can be assigned to monsoon if it is causing disaster to the people living in the monsoon Asia region? So you could analyze both sides and take a view. And next we shall see the 2016 mains question paper for geography. Discuss the concept of air mass and explain its role in macroclimate changes. So you're going to revolve around this particular concept. We're going to discuss what is air mass and going to explain how the air mass affects the macroclimatic region. So that's how you're going to revolve your answer with. You can even draw maps for the air mass. What are the macroclimatic effects experienced in temperate climate, in western part of temperate climate and eastern hemisphere of temperate climate? All those things can be explained. And here the Himalayas are highly prone to landslides. Discuss the causes and suggest remedial measures. Here this is the keyword. They have given the statement. Here they have asked, discuss the causes and to suggest suitable measures to mitigate, that is to lessen the effect. So we are going to take a balanced approach, positive side and negative side of the question, and you are going to suggest what are the ways by which the landslides from Himalayas can be lessened. So this is how you could approach this particular question. The effective management of land and water resources will be drastically reduce the human miseries. So again here this is the keyword. We are going to explain, we are going to give information about it. This particular statement is going to be explained. So you are supposed to make your answer revolve around only this particular keywords. And here the South China Sea has assumed great geopolitical significance in the present context. This can be a question with regard to international relations as well as geography. How the geography of the region is affecting the geopolitical significance of the particular area. So this is how you're supposed to link topics along with the subjects. So we have a rough idea about how to identify the keywords and revolve your answer along with that particular keywords, and wherever possible you're supposed to draw maps and also schematic diagrams if necessary. We shall discuss one question to have an idea about how to write an answer. See, take this example. They have asked to account for huge flooding in million cities in India, including the smart ones. The flood has been happening in many cities. Now the smart cities are also getting affected. Smart cities are planned cities, but still they are also getting affected. So that is the question. Like Hyderabad and Pune are also affected by floods, and they are asking for the lasting remedial measures. So these are the keywords. This one, and they are the question part. So here, you are supposed to give an account for the huge flooding in cities, especially smart ones. That means they have talked about urban flooding. So what are the reasons for, give few reasons for urban flooding, like what are the reasons? Unplanned city constructions, or a lack of coordinated approach between different government agencies, lack of improper drainage system, and human encroachment upon the dry wetlands. So all these things cause the urban flooding. Especially before that, you have to supposed to give us an intro for 2 lines. We can say what are the cities recently affected due to urban flooding, except Pune and Hyderabad. We can say the climate change has its impact with the rapid urbanization and unplanned urbanization. Maybe those 2 points can be used as introduction, and then you can talk about the causes for urban flooding. So you are talking about unplanned city construction, lack of drainage system and encroachment on wetlands. So all these things can be related to causes. We talked about causes. And then you are going to talk about the remedial measures. You should not keep on writing the causes because you know so many causes. You should not keep on writing the causes because the demand of the question is not to talk about the causes. The demand of the question is to give the remedial measures. So you are supposed to give remedies. So what are the remedies? So you have to better plan the urban areas and avoid encroachment. And then you can talk about sponge cities wherein the pavements, concrete pavements in urban areas can be replaced with the porous pavements to allow the infiltration of water so that the flood doesn't happen. And you can also talk about the coordinated approach between different government agencies and planning of different policy implementation through coordinated approach. For example, smart cities. They are developing under two main policies of the government like Amrut and Ride. They are implemented by different government departments, but there should be convergence in the implementation of the project, and so that there will be less effect with respect to the flaws regarding the urban flooding. So all these things can help in mitigating the flooding, and also you can also evacuate people if there is any indication of huge floods. For example, cyclonic floods, you can evacuate people, and that best practices can be learned from states like Orissa because they usually face floods and they have success ratio of evacuating and lessening the mitigation of the people and the property. So these things you can write around these things, and if possible you could also draw diagrams. The recent flooding, for example, in Mumbai it used to flood. In Mumbai it used to flood, and that is a urban area. And again Chennai floods, you must have known about the Chennai floods and also the recent Kerala floods. So all the flooded area can be mentioned in your map, and you can say the mitigation measures. And maybe you could conclude by saying that urban flooding is mostly due to the effect of human induced changes in the urban area, so that we are supposed to allow the nature's course on its own, so that the effect on or loss on human lives or property will be lessened. So this way you can conclude. So this way you could answer for this particular question, and you could write a lasting measures for this particular question. Hope you understood about how to analyze the previous year questions for mains and how to revolve your answer around keywords, and where all to include the diagrams and where all to include the schematic diagrams for the conceptual understanding, conceptual answers. So with these things in mind, you could start writing, and while start writing you should also organize your points. Which important point should come first, and which should be given as an intro, and which should be given as a conclusion. That comes while you practice. Initially you might face difficulty, but later on you could gain grip on the answer writing. Hope this session was useful, and let us meet in the next session. Thank you.